Hello, I'm Howard Jacobson. I have a book out called Whatever It Is, I Don't Like It. Not a novel, but a collection of some of the columns I've been writing for The Independent for the last 12 or 13 years. When I was offered the column, I was given the opportunity to do whatever I liked with it, and I have relished that in that whole period. It's called Whatever It Is, I Don't Like It. The title is taken from a Marx Brothers movie. It's a comic expression of distaste with the whole world, but the columns actually aren't like that, and I'm not like that. The columns are sometimes provocative and argumentative, and they take no sides in any argument, but they are also, I hope, extremely various and full of life and liking sometimes. So whatever it is, I don't like it isn't really true. It's funny having a collection of articles come out. I've never had this before. I've liked the idea of some of my occasional writing coming out, but whereas in a novel I know I want them to have the whole experience of the novel, to undergo the whole dramatic sense of being on this. I almost used the word journey then, and had anybody, if I ever caught anybody using the word journey, I'd write a column about it. We're all on journeys at the moment, so I apologize for the word journey. But anyway, it's a different kind of not journey that I would want people to be on when they are reading these columns, because it's take it or leave it, really. They are not grouped according to any subject. They're not grouped according to chronology. They're just read a piece as you fancy. They all take, they're all 2.5 pages long. So it's an easy, I quite like the idea of a man reading it to his wife, or a wife reading it to her husband, perhaps each reading one to the other before bed. Just a couple before bed. I chose the columns on a pleasure principle. The pleasure they'd given me to write, or the pleasure other people had been kind enough to tell me they gave them. But there's more than one kind of pleasure. There are some of these columns which I hope are just out and out, extremely knockabout funny. And there are some which are funny at the expense of, well, occasionally, I suppose, an individual who deserves to suffer some ridicule for some reason, or certainly at the expense of a cause. But at no point did I want to include a column that wasn't, I hoped, a joy to read. So even at their most serious, I wanted them to be, there are articles about Auschwitz in here, there's articles about Jonathan King being sent to prison. There are articles about people who've been, involved in war, and there are even obituaries to old friends. But I always wanted them to be enlivened in some way. I always wanted people to feel, as I feel as a writer, that I want to shed some light around the thing. So there are no, I think, really heavy or weighty pieces. I'm now coming to the end of my reign, as sounds like Miss World, and I feel a bit Miss World, ceding to the next Miss World. The end of my reign as the most recent Man Booker winner. I won the Man Booker Prize for the Finkler Question in 2010, and it's been fantastic, absolutely wonderful to have won it, to have readers now. And whatever writers tell you that there's one thing that they want, it's readers. There's no point in writing if you are not read. Hard to be read these days. We are losing. Serious fiction is losing readers. Let no one tell you otherwise. It just is. So to win the prize gives you readers, and that's a fantastic thing. Not just for the book that wins the prize, but for your previous books too. And I have many. Wonderful advantage to win it when you're my age and you've written a lot of books before. Harder if you're a young writer and now have something to prove. I like to think I don't have anything to prove. That said, I have just finished a new novel, which is, I can even tell you the title. It's called Zoo Time, and it will be published by Bloomsbury either this time next year or a little earlier next year. We're not sure yet. And I think it's the funniest novel I've ever written. Unquestionably a comedy. There was some question as to whether the Finkler Question was a comedy or not. In my view, it was a tragicomedy. The novel I've just finished, Zoo Time, is a comedy. It's a novel about the end of the word, the end of writing, the end of literature. It's a novel about a spectacular literary failure. I started it before I won the Man Booker Prize, not expecting to win the Man Booker Prize. How you then go on to finish a novel about literary failure when you've just won the Man Booker Prize seemed a problem at the time, but then once I got used to the fact that I'd won it, it was no longer a problem, because my winning the Man Booker Prize did not change my sense that we are in a crisis. The only way for me to write about is comically, with great satiric gusto. So this is a book about publishers shooting one another and agents locking themselves in the toilet and not wanting to talk to writers. Everybody is writing. Nobody is reading, and everybody is writing. And I've never enjoyed writing a book so much, both before the Man Booker Prize, when I didn't know I was going to win it, but particularly after, where, having won it, I felt elated, actually, vindicated and elated. And whether that has lent to my prose a new kind of zest, it's not for me to say. It might be it's done the opposite, but it feels as though it did.